Spotlight back at Pascone's Ristorante. No better place to be. Back with my friend Chef Will. Welcome back to the show.
Tyler, it's such a pleasure to be back as always.
Yes, monthly special February. I can't wait to find out what we're doing today.
Well, we're going to prepare for you a North Atlantic Dover sole with some fancy words here. A little bit of petit pois français and a little bit of white truffle lemon risotto.
All right, let's make that magic happen. What we're going to start with?
Okay, first off, Tyler, we're going to go here. You're going to see our Dover sole, which is beautiful. We've skinned it. We're going to salt and pepper it liberally. What you want to do with your fish, you want to make sure, in order to get a crispy outside, you want to make sure the fish is dry. If you look at that fish, there's no moisture to it. Just a little bit more salt and pepper. Going to go in a little bit of flour. A little bit of a kitchen tip here. One thing that most chefs use in the kitchen for their Dover sole is a little bit of a household secret. It's called Wondra, and it's a very fine milled flour, and it's going to get your outside nice and crispy. It's actually a gravy thickener, Wondra, but it works wonders on fish. Okay. Step in here. Always put the tail in first, slide down. So while that's going like that, we're going to start our peas. We're going to get a little cube of butter, probably about 2.5 ounces. Going to start right there. We're going to put our peas in some boiling salted water. What you want to do is, if you want to check the doneness of your fish, just lift it forward, look at the tail, and it still has a little bit more to go. So we're going to let it go nice and golden.
Is there anything special to know about the fish as far as like when to take it out, how long to keep it in there? Do you want it brown or light color?
You want it to, since we're going to put this in the oven when it's done, we're going to make sure it's in a uniform, nice golden brown. And then at that point, we're going to turn it over, and then we're going to pop it right in the oven. And then that's going to cook the backside. So in theory, you're only cooking, in the restaurant, we only cook the presentation side, and the oven cooks the backside. And look how nice and golden that is. At this point, put it in the oven, 9 minutes. Next, we're going to take our peas. We have our butter. Take our peas from our boiling salted water. Add them to the butter. A little bit of cream. Probably 4 to 5 ounces of cream. We're going to let that reduce. We're going to finish these peas with a little bit of Napa cabbage. So Napa cabbage, if you go to look for it in the store, it's called Savoy cabbage. It's very nice and crunchy, and it's going to give the peas a little bit of texture. So where the cream would make them creamy, the peas would have that little bit of a pop and firmness to them. The cabbage will give it a little bit of body and a little bit of crunch. We're going to take that, a little bit more salt and pepper. Now we're going to start our risotto. We're going to start off with that same 2.5, 3 ounces of butter. We're going to do that twice. We're going to let it melt, and then we're going to add about, I'd say, to the eye, about 5 ounces of fish stock. If you don't have fish stock at home, a good substitute for that would be a little bit of clam broth. So you can get a jar or a bottle of clam broth, and it'll make a great neutral base for a risotto. You're gonna try that at home now?
I'm gonna try it all.
That a boy. Okay, we're gonna let this come to a boil. So before we have to, in order to achieve a little bit of creaminess to the risotto, we need to let the butter melt and the stock boil. So what we do here in the restaurant, and most restaurants will do, is we cook the risotto ahead of time or to 2/3 doneness, and it's still very firm. So in order for us to achieve that, this is the model we need to finish it with. We get our boil. I'm gonna reach across, grab our risotto, sir. In we go. Now that's probably about a cup of 2/3 cooked risotto. Here's where you see the risotto, the starches start to come out in the risotto a little bit. And once that starch is reduced, it's going to be nice, thick, and creamy. It's going to give us that creaminess that everybody looks for in a risotto. That's why whenever they tell you you're making risotto, always use hot broth to extract the starches, because risotto is such a hard grain, especially arboreal risotto. Grab our fish. It's been about, I'd say, 7-8 minutes. going to reach inside, pull our fish up. Once again, oil to the front, no splashing. Up she comes. Okay, now, if you can see, here we are. We're very creamy. Our risotto's creamy. We're going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, our tomatoes, little salt and pepper to taste, a fresh lemon, and I think you can see that. See where the risotto's nice and creamy and the liquid's reduced down from it. We're gonna grab our trusty spoon again, as always. Give it a taste. It'll need a little bit more salt and pepper. There we go.
What was your inspiration behind this dish for the month of February, Chef?
Now now that we're out of the holiday season, we're getting ready to swing into. People want to be a little bit lighter in their diets. That's one thing. But we're getting ready to swing into that Lent portion of where we're getting into Easter, and people like to eat fish. And this is just such a popular classic fish dish. And
It's so light, the fish.
it is. It's extremely light. So what we're going to do here now, I'm going to take the tail, boom. We're going to come down either side. We're going to get the sides a little bit so there's no extraneous bones. Off she comes.
I always wondered how they actually got the bones off the fish. Now I know.
Yeah, now you know. We'll slide both those pieces like such. Onward she goes. And over she goes. What we have here, these in French, these are called vol au vent. Means a little, it means vol, it means vent, it means little vent. And we get our little vent here. We're gonna poke some little hole right in the center. We're gonna reach around, get our peas here. Our risotto. And you can see where all the cheese and everything is sort of melted in there. It's separated itself. And the deal with this fish is it's really a delicate, it's a fine piece of fish. This fish is, we import it from Holland, so it comes in from Holland. Yes, it's a very, very nice. Okay, I'm gonna grab my lemons again. Make sure we don't get any pits in there. We don't want those. Into our. In order for the butter not to break out, most people will continue to heat it. We're using the residual heat in here, and the fat in the butter is going to emulsify the sauce, and it's going to give it that nice, really yellowish, creamy texture. A little salt and pepper. And then, voila. Finito.
All right. Listen, no better place to be. If you were to pair this with a wine, what type of wine would you pair this with?
Oof, we just brought in a beautiful oaky Chardonnay. So I would go with a nice oaky Chardonnay with this, and it would just blow it right out of the water.
All right, Chef.
Where'd you get that from?
So that means I'm going to be trying this amazing fish, and I'll be giving the expert opinion here. All right. Oh, man. Really good. Come try this amazing special, February special, right here at Pascone's Ristorante. Thanks again, Chef
Thank you,
Will.
sir.
And thanks for watching. Spotlight, back to you.